Good evening, everybody. Before we get started, we need to do an audio check. Can y'all hear me? Does everything sound okay? Where is it? Let me turn my volume off. Can y'all give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? All right, I turned my volume down. Maybe the echo's gone. Is the echo gone? Everything sound okay now? Looks like Kelly's having a fit there in the background. You having a spasm back there?
Why are you asking me to change my password if I know my password? Then I changed the password. Now they're saying your account's locked. Change your password.
All right, looks like everything's good. Well, good evening, everybody. Appreciate y'all joining us. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. Hope you got plenty of leftovers, and just hold off on the turkey for a couple hours. We'll get through the video. Y'all have all the turkey you want to, and take you a good long nap afterwards. Anyway, guys, well, it's been a while since we done a live stream. So if this is your first time joining us, we just like to kind of get caught up for the year. All our we're going to say the last harvest video tonight, and we just kind of like to give y'all the opportunity to ask us any questions y'all might have from what you've seen over the past year, or even things that we haven't covered. You got specific questions about our farms or whatever, so we kind of want to give y'all an opportunity to interact with us and find more and find out more about our farm and everything. So, whenever I'm recording videos, whatever, I try to anticipate the questions that viewers might have and explain them. But obviously, I can't. Obviously, I can't think of everything. So, like I said, any kind of questions y'all got, this is a viewer-led discussion right here. I got a couple of topics and stuff I can talk about when things get slow, but obviously I want the viewers to drive this and just try and answer any questions y'all might have. So if you got anything, type it there in the comment box, and I'll address them as they come up, and see how many we can get through our last harvest video. If you stay on this stream, it should automatically take you to it. Like I say, should take you to it. Whenever we get close to 6:30. So, all right, guys, that's our opening. Let's try and get through everything. Looks like Kate's been pretty active. Kate, appreciate you joining us tonight. Greg Rhodes is with us. B Rad, Richard. Looks like B Rad saying we still got an echo. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a professional live streaming. I know I need to get like a lot better microphone and stuff, but really don't want to invest the money for doing this. Two, three, four times a year. Maybe Santa Claus will bring me one next year.
Santa Claus broke. Broke. It's got to be the
I
freaking.
don't.
It's because you're using the GoPro. Guaranteed.
It's not the GoPro killer. It ain't got nothing to do with it. Try this. Wouldn't want to wear this, but. All right, how about now? Is the echo still there? Does it sound a little bit better?
No.
Do what?
Bobby's got said business expense. Santa's broke for the business expense as well. Santa El Broke. Oh. Broke.
All right, we'll get started with the questions here. Uh, First one's from B Rad. Do you really think Trump will help the farmers, as in cut the expenses of getting crops in the ground? Uh, I do think that if Trump is able to enact everything he wants to, I think it will be a net positive for the agriculture industry. But we need to remember, Trump is just one man. He is just one part of the government. You got three different branches, and in order to do a bunch of positive stuff, I mean, obviously he's going to have the Congress and Senate work with him, and we all know that the last version of the Congress and Senate has gotten the least amount done out of anyone in history. There's too much bickering, too much infighting. Uh, I think Trump's going to try and ram a bunch of stuff through. I think some of it will help. Some of it will probably hurt. We saw during Trump's last term with the tariffs. It really hurt our exports. Now, ultimately, what he was trying to do was help us long term, but when Biden got into office, everything that Trump had worked for with getting China to, increase their imports of American farm products, obviously Biden didn't do anything with holding them to the deal. So we went through a pretty painful stretch with depressed prices. And then we saw no real result of it because Trump got elected out of office and then Biden didn't hold up his end of the deal. Now, how much can Trump actually get done in 4 years? I mean, I don't know. I think he's going to try. Now, if he's talking about tariffs again, do I really think tariffs are going to hurt us like they did last time? No, I don't, because the export demand from China and all these other companies was damaged with tariffs in the previous when he was previously president. Well, that demand hasn't come back, so could we lose more exports? Yeah, but it's a lot lower percentage of what we had before. So ultimately, I think it'll help. I think there's a lot of other things that could be positive. Especially with lowering regulations and everything else that I think could help. But again, how much can he get done with the current Congress and Senate? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Woody Henson asked, what inch rows are we farming? We farm, or he's saying that they farm on 30-inch rows. Right now, corn and cotton, we're on 38-inch rows. Soybeans, we're on 19-inch rows. Wheat, we're on 7.5-inch rows. And I know I know I could make higher yields on 30-inch rows with corn, but that requires a different planter. And with all the technology on the planters, like right now we've got what maybe somewhere around $300,000 invested in our planter. I want another planter on 30-inch rows with another $300,000 invested in it. For our size farm, we can't afford it. So we can still make good corn on 30-inch rows and or 38-inch rows. And I know I definitely don't want to go to 30-inch rows on cotton because we'd be going from picking a 19-foot wide swath to a 30-foot wide swath and just, not near as efficient and everything. So if we were a bigger farm, well, we would probably be on different row stations, have more options. But for our size farm, that's the best we can do. Nick James with us. We're doing well tonight. We're still a little full from Christmas dinner. All right, everybody saying, well, these people are saying it's better. I apologize for my stuttering tonight. Today's a bad stuttering day for me, so y'all just bear with me. Kevin Scallions asks, how is our wheat crop doing? For the most part, I'm really, really happy with the wheat crop. It's looking good. It's farther along than what it has been the last few years because we got it planted earlier. And the last we planted, especially on like the ground we ripped in 2023, we got a few bare spots. Of course, we got a lot of rain on it just a couple days after we planted it, which hurt emergence. But overall, I'd say 95% of it, I'm really, really pleased with. And well, it's got big yield potential. Still got a long ways to go. And then B. Ray asks, well, what about all the countries denying the crops you farmers are growing, as in the GMOs, like Mexico stopped buying U.S. corn. Best of my knowledge, that's being fought out in courts and with not NAFTA, but whatever the new North American trade agreement is. I think they found that Mexico was wrong by saying that they wouldn't be buying U.S. GMO corn. So
It's all back to normal.
yeah, I think I don't. I mean, honestly, I don't know. That's definitely not my area of expertise. Uh, I do believe Mexico will be buying corn. How much? How much? I don't know. Got Carrie Inman in here with us. How's it going, Carrie? Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Great Ghost saying the echo's still horrible. Well, guys, I don't know what I can do.
I can't tell because I can't put one up. So.
How about this? I just deselected one of the microphone inputs. Is this better? We got Dion in here with us. How's it going, Dion? You got all your crop out yet? Got Luke Ruth of Ruth Farms in here with us.
I was just talking to his wife.
Yeah, Kelly's just talking to your wife, Luke. All the weather's December weather. It's cloudy, halfway warmish outside, and supposed to get rain tonight. I actually got Ryan Hall on the TV up above me. I got tornado warnings and stuff down there in Texas around Houston. Don't think it's going to get up this way, but we're supposed to get a pretty fair amount of rain tonight.
We're not getting any tornadoes on wheels.
No, we're not going to get tornadoes.
It says it's much better now.
Okay. Maybe hopefully, if I do it in my next live stream 4 or 5 months from now, I'll remember that.
I'll let you know.
Troy Cody asked, what's our soybean population? Normally we plant 140,000 seeds per acre. This year on our full season beans, just to save costs, we bumped it down to 130, and then y'all saw what kind of soybean crop we had. It would have been better if I'd had a higher population, but we did lose a lot of what was out there due to three-corner alfalfa hoppers. So 140 is a safe bet. Going into next spring, I'll just have to look and see what the planting conditions are like. If we got a really, really good stretch of planting weather, I'll probably try to drop it because, soybean seeds running, $60 to $65 a bag, not counting treatments. So anything we can do to save money this year, we're definitely going to be trying it. B-Rad asks, are we in the positive or negative for the year? Well, according to my tax man, we still owe Uncle Sam some money, so I guess we did all right. We actually made a profit, although my billfold still feels pretty slim, but we did. We didn't lose money for the year. Of course, we haven't sold everything yet. We still got our soybeans to sell, but it wasn't a great year. We did make it through. We did make a little bit of a profit, but we're going to have to keep things really tight going into 2025 because the prospects for next year just are not looking good at all. Kurt Patterson asked, any plans on a bigger tractor to handle the ripper better? No, based upon what I said, no, there's not. I mean, we're not buying any equipment unless it's absolutely needed, and as of right now, we're not needing everything. We can get by with what we had last year, and we're trying to pinch pennies and keep as much money in the bank as possible and spend as little as possible because another year like last year with low prices and then below average yields, it's going to hurt. So trying to be fiscally responsible and just save every bit of money that we can. I need my readers.
Do you want to go get them?
I need my readers. Well, no. I need my readers. I can't see what you just showed me. Felix Rentz asked, did we do any vertical tillage in wheat? No, we didn't do any vertical tillage before we planted this year's wheat crop. Now, some of the wheat we planted this year, we ripped the fall before last in 2023. So really interested to see how that's going to perform, especially if we got a wet winter, maybe if it lets the water percolate on down through the ground a little bit better.
Oh, he was in fancy words. Percolate. Ooh, Carter's leaving.
Sound like Andy and Carter done. I told Andy we was going live tonight. If told him he could join us if he wanted to. I don't know if he's going to or not. All right. Well, for echoes, good. I'm gonna take this thing off and put this back on, so I ain't gotta hold this up all the time. All right. Everybody's saying the audio is much better. That's good. Peanut Smith asks, what about strip till all in one pass? If we do strip till on our ground, we are going to have a gully every 30 inches or 38 inches, however, whatever row spacing your strip till rig is on, because our soil here in West Tennessee, especially Crockett County, it's about like sugar. Whenever water hits it, it just dissolves and goes away. Our ground is probably some of the most highly erodible ground in all of the U.S. And that's why we're such a proponent of no-till, because any kind of tillage we will lose topsoil. And with over 100 years of conventional till on our ground, I've shown y'all in a lot of spots of the field, we've only got 3, maybe 4 inches of topsoil left just because of the erosion. Then if you do strip till, the water's going to run down those strips and it's just going to wash it all away. It will not hold together. Strip till is definitely not an option for us. B-Rad says he's going to do the Cotton Eye Joe. I'd like to see that, B-Rad. Yeah, Bobby Scott. Next time we do a live stream, if there's an echo, remind me exactly what I did. I deselected one of the microphone inputs because I know I sure ain't gonna remember. The Weather Fanatic says, "Tell Kelly I said hey, and have I got my gin tickets back?" Yeah, we got it. We've gotten all of our gin tickets back. Dion says he still got about 40 acres left, but because of bad crop, not gonna harvest anything else. Kate, we're talking about planting population, like how many seeds per acre we plant. Woody Henson says, I've never used precision planting because it is so expensive. Yes, it is expensive. Do you honestly think it will pay for itself? Yeah, Woody, I did a video on this a couple years ago. Now, obviously, the more acres you can run it across, the more likely it is to pay for itself. But to me, it is well worth the investment, because you get one chance to plant a crop, and precision planting allows you to tailor your planter and automatically adjust it going through the field for every type of condition that you're going to face. A lot of the things, say we've got V drive, which is electric drive on the planter. Is it inherently better than, say, hydraulic drive, which would be cheaper? Maybe not really. It's just a lot easier to mess with. It gives you individual tuning of unit by unit, and we've had absolutely zero problems out of it. I absolutely love it. Will it pay for itself over, say, hydraulic drive? I don't know. Possibly not. If you've already got hydraulic drive and you like it, you're probably not going to make more money by upgrading to electric drive, but it has been absolutely flawless. Now, V drive or hydraulic drive over just your standard transmission on your planter, variable rate planting, especially in corn, yes, it does pay for itself, at least in our soils, because we've got highly variable soils. We can do, in the same pass, we can do anywhere from 15,000 plants per acre to 30,000 plants per acre, depending on whether we're going through a highly productive low spot or if we're on top of a highly eroded hill. So yes, it pays for us. Delta Force is absolutely fantastic. The only problems we've had out of it is having to replace, 2 or 3 load cells a year, but being able to adjust your down pressure uh, on your unit as you're going through the field, going through different conditions, it is absolutely well worth it. Furrow Force, the closing system, for what we plant in with our cover crops and different conditions and everything else, it is absolutely fantastic and make sure we get the seed trench closed. Uh, their smart farmers, in my opinion, are a waste of money. They do give you some cool information, but it's really not usable information, and I question how accurate it is. Clean sweep on our row cleaners, it's worth it for us dealing with the cover crops that we deal with. In a typical no-till or conventional till situation, maybe it's not worth it, but for the conditions that we plant in, precision planting is absolutely worth it. Hope that answers your question. Jordan Schaefer says, I appreciate how well you explain your operation, and you do a wonderful job and allows me to think about what I do on my farm. Well, I appreciate it, Jason. That's kind of our goal. Showcase what we do, showcase what we do right, but more importantly, showcase where we screw up to where hopefully somebody else who's a farmer can learn from our mistakes and don't have to repeat our mistakes and suffer the penalty for that. So that's really what we try to do is show everything of our operation, be completely transparent, and that way, people can either look at their operation and see where they're doing well, or maybe where they can improve. We absolutely love sharing all the information that we gather. It can be to a benefit of. It can be to a lot of people's benefit. Felix Rent says I farm with lower horsepower tractors as well. What kind of tractors you running there, Felix? All right, we got a guy's name here. I apologize, I cannot pronounce your name, but he's from Hungary.
He's the ones that give us the.
And apparently, it is 12:20 in the morning there. Wow, it is
Is the
five.
one that gave us the
Is
presents?
the one? Is he the one that sent us the
Oh,
Christmas
ask him.
ornaments? I can't pronounce his name.
Oh, let me see.
Horvath Gazdazek. Um, I butchered that. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Wow. Wow.
All right, we got a guy here I can't pronounce. Riley Garrett is saying, "Hey, from Florida, where Kelly would like to be right now."
Yes.
Ron
Right
Ron Fisher from Richlands, North Carolina. Eric Reed, the Crop Critics, join us. How's it going, Eric? I'm sure you're way ahead of me. Already got all your stuff polished and cleaned and tucked away for the winter, whereas we're just now finishing up on ours. I don't know if I'm operating in the black, Eric. It might be gray. It's not red, but it might be gray.
Yeah.
Weather Fanatic asks us how did we do on cotton.
Eh.
Not definitely not what I hoped. We wound up averaging. I don't remember the exact number, but somewhere right there, right around 980 pounds an acre, a true 2 bales an acre. Whereas I ain't gonna lie, I was definitely expecting to average overall, 11, 1,200 pounds, but it just wasn't there. It looked great from the road, but it just wasn't there. But on the flip side, I've had crops that looked terrible from the road that wound up yielding great. That's the thing about cotton. It's going to fool you. It don't matter how many years you farm it, it is going to fool you. Riley Garrett asks, what's the plan for 2025? Our plan for 2025 is to spend as little money as possible, put a crop in as cheap as possible, but not put in a crop so cheap that we're cutting our throats on yield. We won't give the crop every opportunity to yield well. Now, we're not shooting for big numbers. We're shooting for sustainable numbers that we know can be readily attained if we get a decent growing season. So, probably going to cut back on some fertilizer, draw some more fertilizer out of the bank account that we've built up. Still going to apply chicken litter. Been really plan on covering this in a video, but on corn, uh, it really did not sit well with me this late this fall, seeing all these manufacturers going up on corn seed prices when our commodity price is in the toilet. A lot of popular varieties from DeKalb are 320 to $330 a bag, and let's face it, I don't have ground that's capable of utilizing the yield potential of $320 per bag corn seed. We can make good yields, but not good enough yields to justify that price. So I've inquired of all the manufacturers around here. We're probably going to grow some non-GMO corn, even though we really don't have a non-GMO market. But some of the more popular varieties I'm familiar with, of them are a little bit older. They do have a non-GMO, which is going to lower the cost of seed. And I feel with our management, we can still make good yields on that. We're going to be going with some of it with some straight Roundup Ready corn, trying to lower our cost a little bit on that. Soybeans and cotton, really not much more we can do to lower costs. So we're probably going to lower some of our fertilizer, especially the potash, down some, but really not much more we can skin from that cat to try and get our cost of production down. We're just going to try to do a lot better job, even better than what we've done in the past, with being very precise with our applications and doing everything the right way. Try to minimize how much risk we've got involved in the crop. Weather Fanatic asked, what brand of cottonseed do you recommend for South Georgia? I could tell you, but I guarantee you it'd be the wrong thing. I have no idea what cotton to grow in South Georgia. I mean, pretty much all the manufacturers have got good cottonseed, but what I would do for you is I'd look at your university recommendations. I would pick out probably 3 varieties that have been in the top for the last 2 to 3 years, and those are the varieties I would plant. Maybe try a little bit of a newer variety that did good last year, but the bulk of your crop, I would definitely plant varieties that have been in the top for the last 2 to 3 years for sure, and that's about the safest bet you can do. Jack Oxendine asked, could I plant into the green cover crop without the burn down strips? Corn and soybeans, well, we plant soybeans without the burn down strips, but corn, yes, we could easily plant because, we're planting corn seed 2 inches deep into biomass that's really not all that thick in April. And if you think about the anatomy of a planter, with the V discs, the deeper you go, the wider that seed trench gets. So, if you plant 2 inches deep, you've got a lot wider seed trench to drop seed in and then get it covered up. The problem what we face is planting cotton. We're planting cotton later, so we've got a lot more above ground biomass that we have to cut through, and then we're trying to plant that cotton seed as shallow as possible, a half inch deep to 3/4 inch deep, which means the seed trench is about that wide, and cotton seed is small and light, and you got cover crop that interfering from it falling into the seed trench. That's where we really run into the problems. But my trials or tests I've done in the past show that even on corn, having those burn down strips raises our yield, 2 to 3 bushels an acre, probably because we don't have as much biomass that has to decompose, tying up nitrogen with the young seedling and all that kind of stuff. I really need my readers. I'm struggling to read these comments.
What now?
I really need my readers. I'm struggling to read these comments. Oh, she's on the phone.
Okay. Wow. You're struggling to read the comments. Why?
Because I need my readers. I'm getting
You
old,
want me to
guys.
read them
Yeah, can you come read them for me?
What do you want me to read?
Kate Daughtry asked a good question here. Is R7120 the last combine Case IH made before adding the diesel exhaust fluid? Yes, I believe so. The 7230s were the next series to come out, or the 30 series, 7230, 8230, 9230. They all had def on them. So yeah, for that simple reason, I'm gonna keep my 7120 as long as I possibly can. Weather Fanatic says he's still running a 9986 picker. Good picker. I love running mine. I love running that module picker even more.
I want to go to Hungary now.
Mr. Horvath says it's okay if I can't pronounce his name. The Hungarian language is quite difficult. I guarantee it'd be difficult for me. I do not have an affinity for foreign languages. Yeah, Crop Critic says going to be tough to crawl out from underneath this last crop. And if y'all don't know, the Crop Critic had it way worse than what we did. While we did have plenty of hot, dry weather, I mean, they had an absolute devastating drought down there, especially on the corn crop. Now, luckily, Eric grows cotton, which I think some of his cotton was able to recover a little bit from later season rains, and then some of it was permanently damaged. But I know when I went down there in August to pick up that ripper from him, that the corn I saw down there reminded me of our corn from 2022. It was absolutely awful. Eric, how you gonna be able to make it without Amigo, man? Those two guys you guys seem to really work well together, and they really got after stuff.
Why use multiple varieties versus going with only one when you know one is outperforming the other?
Sideways Farms asks why use multiple varieties versus going with only one when you know one is going to outperform the other. For the simple fact is we don't know that one variety is going to outperform the other, and uh, we know that one variety may perform better on this type of ground as opposed to this type of ground. But a lot of these varieties we've only seen for 1, 2, 3 years. We haven't seen them in all conditions. So by planting multiple good varieties, you're spreading your risk around because ultimately you don't know what the year is going to bring. Take for example a cotton this year, Delta Pine 2115. It's been out. It's been out since 2021, and up until this year, it was almost. It was either at the top or at least number two and number three in pretty much every plot since 21. This year, due to the conditions that we faced, it fell towards the middle of the pack. It saw conditions this year that we haven't seen in 21, 22, or 23. I planted a lot of it. I would have been better if I'd planted another variety. But that's the reason we plant multiple varieties because we just don't know exactly how a variety is going to perform. And that's why I was telling the guy from Georgia, go look at the local university data, and your best bet is to plant a variety or plant several varieties that have been in the top over the course of the last 2 to 3 years. But usually each variety will perform a little bit better on a certain piece of ground, and then another variety will perform better on another type of ground just due to its characteristics. Y'all farm any ground that is already owned by developers? Uh, yeah, actually we do. We've got one farm I know of that's owned by a developer, and he hasn't told me exactly what his plans are, but for what he paid for the property, he's not going to keep it in farm ground forever. So we know that that's come. We know coming down. We know that that's coming down the road, but yeah, unfortunately, it's something we've got to face here. Yeah, Benji King says, I know a lot of your ground is hilly, but we don't pump water. He says he waters everything. Well, just due to our field sizes and shapes, I mean, irrigation is not really feasible on the vast majority of ground. Certainly none of the ground that we farm. I mean, last I heard, you got to have usually at least 100 acres underneath a pivot for it to be able to for it to be able to cash flow. And like our biggest field size is 70 acres, and we put a pivot on that. It might be able to cover 40, 45 acres of that. By the time you dig a well and put up the pivot and everything, it needs to cover a good amount of ground. And unfortunately, we just don't have any farms where that would be feasible at. Felix Rentz asks, "What is your opinion about heel drop planting cotton?" I mean, it can work when it works right, though. Say you plant two seeds, or say you plant three seeds per mound, which is what a lot of people around here have done. One of those plants ultimately turns into a weed, but I mean, it can help with emergence, and where you got two or three seeds in one spot, both all trying to poke up. It's not what I prefer, but other people have done it, and it's six of one, six of one, half a dozen of the other. But seeing as how us planting in our cover crops, we're really not concerned about the ground crusting over, which is where hill dropping can really benefit you. Get this question, Kelly. Arthur OK says, "Hey, Matt and Kelly, I have a friend that runs an armadillo rehab farm, and he is looking for a friendly farmer to release 40 to 50 rehabbed armadillos on. No, you may not give him my number."
But I know a few people that we could let that happen to.
You might want to contact Jesse Lampley about that. I know he's pretty fond of armadillos. He'd probably like to have them over there in Middle Tennessee.
No, I meant like your worst enemy and just let him go.
Weather Fanatic says they recommend Delta Pine 2038, 2127, 2333 for us. I don't know anything about 2333. I know Delta Pine 2038 is a good one in this area if we've got enough long enough growing season. It's more of a kind of a mid-maturing variety, and it really needs to be planted early here. But when it's planted under the right conditions and gets a good growing season, it's really one of the top varieties. So you being, I think you said you were down in Georgia, that would definitely be a good one. 2127, I think that's a Thrive On variety. It's been pretty good. I don't really know if the first generation of Thrive On cottons really yield as well as the non-Thrive Ons, but I think it's a good variety. 2333, I don't know anything about that one. Can't help you with that. Brandon Doofus says, "Tell Kelly the lights on the spreader look good."
I know they do.
Jason Schaefer says he still runs a John Deere 4400 combine. I'd love to come down with my drone and take some video of that. You just don't see those combines running very much anymore. Crop Critic says Amigo saying, "Okay, so I guess I got it wrong. Pablo's the one leaving. I couldn't keep him straight."
Not Pablo.
Weather Fanatic says at his place they need 80 acres under pivot to make it work. Kirby Holmes asked, "Did I get any steers?" Yes, we got three little devils out there. So far, they're still in our new pen. We have not had any problems with them. I'll say I'll have a video coming up that shows us going and getting them. I'll have, I don't know, probably 5 minutes or so dedicated in a video to the steers, and hopefully, if everything goes well, that will be all you see of the steers until it's time to haul them off. Because if you see anything else of the steers, that means that they got out, and I'm not going to be in a good mood.
Why did you even say that?
Well, you think I jinxed myself?
Yeah, you jinx it all the time. Please don't. I'm not chasing that.
I'm not superstitious like you are.
And it happens every time.
Rizzio's from Dresden, Tennessee. Benji King says 40 acres under a pivot pays if it's all downhill. Okay, I don't have much desire to go ride in a new John Deere combine. There's plenty of them around here. Brady Doolin came by and saw the Christmas spreader too and loves it.
The Christmas spreader? Is that what you're calling it now?
Chicken litter spreader. Oh, he said the Christmas display chicken litter spreader. All right, guys, we're kind of caught up on questions. Like I said, y'all keep coming on with them. But one of the topics I wanted to talk about, we'll talk about this for a few minutes, is the the recent bill passed in Congress, the continuing resolution or whatever, and then in that they did a 1 year extension of the farm bill for 2025, and then also there's some payments coming from farmers. Well, uh, sure most of y'all saw back late summer I did a video on how crop subsidies work, and it's one of y'all's opinion of the payments coming, which I'll go ahead and give you mine. Do farmers need help? Are farmers in tough times? Yes, they are. Do I want to see the government just hand out payments because we've had a bad 2 to 3 years? Is that $30 to $40 per acre we're going to get on corn, beans, or $80 an acre we're going to get on cotton? Is it going to help? In my opinion, it'll help temporarily, but ultimately, I think it's going to hurt the farming industry because what are the two biggest things that we face right now? We're facing low prices. We're facing low commodity prices, but we're also facing extremely high input prices. Now that Bayer, Corteva, all these companies, now that they see that the government's sending farmers checks, that are they going to have an incentive to lower their prices on their inputs? No, they're not. I mean, ultimately, all that's going to do is help keep input prices high, which will prolong the tough times that we're facing. Is these payments going to farmers? Is it going to lower cash rent prices? No, it's not. I mean, these landlords, in fact, they say government, or they say farmers are getting government payments. They're going to want an even bigger slice of the pie. Cash rents could go up. So, ultimately, I'm against it. I know there's a bunch of farmers out there that really needed those payments to stay afloat. But I mean, ultimately, I want to make my income from producing crops and selling them for a cost that covers my cost of production, plus gives me some profit. Is John Deere going to lower the price of tractors and combines and cotton pickers? Not with those government payments, they're not. So all it's doing is it's just going to be making things to be even more painful. And I don't want to have to farm relying on a government check. We've seen how whimsical Congress is, and we got a payment this year, but what about the previous 2 years? When we had tough times. And then we got a farm bill that was good from 18 to 23. They extended it for 1 year for 2024, and now here it is into 2024, and they finally extended it for 2025. And uh, I'd much rather see Congress take the time to get a comprehensive, updated farm bill with appropriate safety nets in it for the economy that we're facing right now, not just give us a $30 an acre payment for soybeans. Just I don't like it. I know some people needed it, but I'd really be interested to hear y'all's thoughts on that. Ruth Farms asks, "Are we ready for the cruise and the farm show?"
Yes, we are. Let's
Ke-
go now. I want to go now. I wanna go
Kelly's ready for the cruise.
now.
I guess I am too. Yeah, I'm ready for the farm show. Looking forward to the farm machinery show in Louisville. We will be there. What Thursday on that Thursday and Friday? I'm guessing.
Oh, we have to be there Tuesday, and we're gonna be there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
We're gonna be there 4 freaking days. Are you kidding me?
No,
We might drive separate. I don't know if I can be up there that long.
because the Australians are coming, so we are gonna be hanging out with them too. So you can drive separate by. I'll go by myself. They're hanging out with us too, so they get double dose. They get to hang out with us on the cruise, and they're going with us to the show. They're gonna be tired of us.
Kayla says, stop texting her and wave at her.
Darling, how are you? She's got back from hospital.
Mike Haas asked, how much ripping did we get done this year? Well, I don't know if I really ever added it all up. We probably ripped a total, I don't know, 450 acres. We got a good bit of our corn ground done, and then we did some soybean ground. So, yeah, somewhere around that 400 acre mark. Would have liked to have done some more of a corn ground, but just ran out of time. Weather Fanatic asks, what do we think about the rise of property tax? Well, I mean, I'm guessing that's going to be highly specific to your location. I know in the past couple of years here in Crockett County, we saw, was a 25% jump in property tax, I think.
And we got it again, too.
And what did it go to fund? A new football stadium and gymnasium at the high school when they already had a good gymnasium, in my opinion.
Turf on the football field.
Yeah,
That our kid doesn't even go to school there.
Yeah, I'm not for it. I'm not for it all. I'm all for lowering taxes and getting rid of a lot of the government. 'Cause I think Americans have become far too reliant on the government to cover a lot of things. That's just my opinion, though. Rodney Evans says that people don't understand what it takes to run a farm. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's no telling how many times I still get the comment, "Well, you only work like 4 months out of the year. You work, 2 months during planting and 2 months during the harvest season." And I mean, that's one of the goals of our channel is show exactly, not just showcase our farm, but actually show what goes into every single day of running a successful farm. And I mean, this time of year, I'm still working 40 to 50 hours per week, hopefully for the next 2.5 months. And then it'll go back to 60 to 85 hours per week for the next 7 to 8 months. And yeah, there's so many people that think that all we do is, we're out there and we drive a tractor. And if we're not driving a tractor, we're not working. We're ultimately, operating equipment is maybe 30% of my job. Uh, but that's what we try to do. Our channel is just inform everybody what exactly goes on a farm, what's involved in producing the food and fiber that everybody uses. This guy asked, are subsidies counted as income on taxes? Yes, they are. Yes, we will pay taxes on those subsidies. Jason Schaefer says, my dad farmed for 71 years of his life, and he said the closest he will allow the government to his operation is a mailbox across the road, and that's still close for him. I can't argue with that one bit. The government being involved usually does not improve private industry. Benji King asks, I'm thinking he's asking, are you going to the gin show? I I don't know. I mean, if I don't have anything else going on, I might show up for on the Friday or Saturday. But honestly, after going to the Farm Machinery Show, the Mid South Farm and Gin Show is really a disappointment. And it's not, it's kind of dead. It's not what it was, 10, 15 years ago. Luke Roos says, I would rather inputs come down and the crop prices go back up as I get a payment. Yeah, I can't agree with that. You think about it, us as farmers, we're our own worst enemies. And I've talked with several other farmers. What's the one thing that farmers talk about? Yield, making more yield, and then more yield. Do we all want to make good yields? Yeah, we do. Is unfortunately that seems to be the number. That seems to be how a lot of us farmers define our successes, making better yields than we did last year. But by doing that and oversupplying, we're cutting our own throats because we can't control the price. The more we produce, the lower we keep prices. And then, the more we produce, the more these high price inputs it's going to take to produce that, which lowers cost even more. And I think us as farmers, we've got to get out of our mindset. And it took me quite a few years to do this, is quit looking at my farm and defining my success by how much I was yielding. Instead, defining my success by how much profit I was making, how sustainable were we being, how much we were improving the land for the next generation, and we just got to get out of the mindset of yield is everything when it's not. We're cutting our own throats. And then again, the more inputs we buy, the more the inputs are going to go up. We got to show these companies that stuff is priced too high, and the only way we're going to do that is by not buying a lot of these inputs. My advice is just buy the inputs that for sure are proven and will work on your farm and lead you to a positive return on investment.
Apparently, we just got invited to Hungary.
What's a big what we say we got invited to Hungary?
Yeah.
What
He said there's also Association of Soil Regeneration Farmers here. You should come and give a lecture.
should
we get plane tickets?
is the beer pretty good in Hungary? I always wanted to go to Germany.
Beer and food. Beer and food. That's all Matt cares about. He doesn't care about anything else. Beer and food.
I've always wanted to go to Germany to get the beer and the brats and all that.
Beer and food. Beer and food. It's like the country in between everything, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if I could give a lecture in Hungary. I don't think anybody would be able to understand me.
Yeah, they would.
This guy says maintenance is the worst of it all. Yeah, and that seems like that's all we're doing now is maintenance and fixing stuff. Riley Garrett asks if we thought about getting a skid steer. Not really. It's another piece of equipment we have to work on and maintain. And between the front end loader on our tractor and the forklifts, really not many situations where I think a skid steer would really benefit us. Now they're fun to drive, but
look who got a brand new one, but we can't tell nobody.
That's nice. Got a cabin and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, we haven't. We haven't thought about getting a skid steer.
I know somebody who just got one today.
You know who this NH Farms is? They say that they're ready for the cruise.
Yeah. Is that Andrew and them? I can't, they need to use their names. Is it Andrew and them?
Empty Pocket says he can't hear me speak.
Something about his phone sucks because he's in the back of his whatever.
Oh.
I don't know. Oh my god, who is it? Now I have to figure it out. I hate when they don't use their names.
Frito, I can't pronounce that. Ever get rid of the John dumpster your wife hates so much?
What, the what?
No, in fact, the John Deere is sitting out in the middle of the field, and we've got to go fix it tomorrow.
Ever get rid of the John dumpster your wife? Oh, that's what his name's gonna be from now on. I hate that thing. It's sitting in the middle of a field just out for everybody to see.
Yeah, I've really debated just leaving it out there, and we'll just cut wheat around it next summer. I've just debated just planting it in the field.
Making an olive garden.
Kelly's not the only one that hates that tractor.
Oh, Daryl and Christy. Hello. Yeah, they're the other North Carolinians that are coming. Oh,
Okay, I guess Kayla's talking about the skid steer here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, skid steers are fun to drive, but I do not want any more equipment I got to work on and maintain on our farm.
But it's brand new. Does that mean I can?
Yeah, we would not have a brand new one if we did have a skid steer. I can promise you that.
Guess what?
What?
Kayla and them, they're selling their 4440.
Don't call me because I will not buy it.
Can we put them both up for sale? Hate them.
Jay Hedecker asked, "How do we like our draper head? Pros, cons." They got a MacDon 974 36 foot. Man,
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love our draper. We got a 2162, which I think is going to be the next newest model over year 974. We've had we really haven't hardly had any trouble out of it. Running it in the field is an absolute dream. I mean, it works fantastic, and ours is pretty old, and we try to maintain it. But I know it's not going to work as well as a new one. But I think it's going to be leaps and bounds ahead of your 970, the 974 you're running. If I'm not mistaken, that 974 is a rigid cutter bar, but I absolutely love ours. As long as you get one in good shape and then you maintain it, I mean, it works fantastic. Ray Farm says I couldn't make it without my skid steer, but he also cleans out chicken houses with him, which yeah, it'd be a requirement. Luke, absolutely love that bucket y'all have on that skid steer. I'd love to have a bucket like that on our loader tractor. You talking about really being able to dump stuff high?
Yeah, but then we'd have to move it to every field, and that would suck.
We got Dick Gray's grandson with us, Sample 22 Country. All right, everything's going with us. We're still kicking and screaming down here.
And Carter got a new truck, so that's good. Yeah, he was there when Carter.
Yeah. We got Kelly and Kayla going back and forth on the.
We're gonna sell the 4440 special
y'all are blowing my feet up.
Special twin.
And Mike Haas says, Reef Farms has got a kick butt channel. And I'll agree. I've said it before. Luke really reminds me of myself when I was that age. Just a go getter, just tackling everything. He's tackling projects that I wouldn't even really consider tackling myself at my age. But when I was that age, I'd come up with some ideas and tackle them, and he's really done well. Building his farm, acquiring equipment, and just doing everything the right way. He's really got a good channel going and a good operation. Timothy says they just bought a 30-foot John Deere draper this year and love it. The one thing I love about the MacDons is the ability to tilt that cutter bar back and forth hydraulically from the cab, which for us, cutting double crop beans is a huge benefit. And I know I've run a GTS draper that really didn't have that ability, and when it started getting damp, you had to shut down. But with our MacDons and cutting double crop beans, we can go well on into the night, as you've seen in their videos, even when conditions get really damp, because you're able to raise that knife up a few inches off the ground and get it out of that wet wheat stubble, and it really helps. I don't know if John Deere drapers can do that or not. I'd be interested to know. Luke asks, is our loader tractor skid steer style quick attach? Yeah, it is a quick attach, and we have auxiliary hydraulics on the loader. Now we did back when we were doing square bales hay. We had hydraulic lines run up to some remotes on the loader, but they plugged into our rear remotes to operate the grapples. So we don't have designated hydraulic attachments on there, but we can run them to the back of the tractor like we've done in the past. Sample 22, Carter got an '08 Silverado 1500. I'm sure you step outside, you can hear it coming down the road.
God bless, it's so loud.
MT Pockets, appreciate you joining us. Be sure to come back here in about 30 minutes and check out the video being released. I figure we have a lot more comments about the subsidies, but not many people chimed in. Rose Farms, well, can you get a dump bucket with the Woods quick attach, because Woods doesn't even make front end loaders anymore, and it's kind of an obsolete design. That would be my question. Woody Henson asks, "What's wrong with your old John Deere tractor now?" What's not wrong with it?
The tire is like
the rear wheel. I have no idea how
Carter
this happened.
Carter and Andy, that's how it happened.
It had to be Carter and Andy. I have no idea how it happened, but anyway, the rear wheel, the rear rim is a two-piece design that's got these clamps or whatever that you can adjust the spacing on it or whatever. Anyway, the bolt on 5 of those clamps just disappeared, completely vanished. So now the wheel came loose from the inner hub, and it's sitting like this out in the field. And it's got a flat tire. We were going to fix it today, but Tennessee Tractor is closed, so couldn't go get the parts. So it's probably going to be a tomorrow project or a next June project. I don't know. I hadn't decided yet. Timothy says you got tilt control on the feeder houses. Okay, yeah, I've seen those. All right, Kelly, you got any topics you wanna cover? We got 24 more minutes to cover. You want to tell people what your plans are for the Christmas display next year?
No.
Everybody wants to know.
I'm not telling anybody what my plans are for the Christmas display next year because it's going to take a solid 4 days to complete it. And it's epic.
You're gonna be doing it by yourself.
No, Andy said he'd help me. You're going to help this time.
I believe I'll help this time.
It's going to be a very large piece of equipment. It's going to be awesome. I already have all the lights. I've got the plan.
Hope you got somebody bringing in this very large piece of equipment.
Actually, there's 2 of them sitting outside right now. So can I pick from one? Ooh.
I don't know how long
Did I say? Yeah, I know. Thought that was kind of funny though. People were asking, did we really get his and her sprayers? I was like, yeah. No. That would be nice though. That'd be fun. No, that's it. It's going to be a very large piece of equipment.
Well,
Not saying anybody.
That gives me an idea of something else I can talk about.
For the guy who says he doesn't talk or can't talk for that long, you are sure talking a whole lot.
Thank you, Kayla, for that criticism.
I'm dying. Here. I ain't got nothing else other than I just want to get through the next week.
All right, so we kind of running low on comments. There's something else we can talk about. If y'all remember back cotton harvest, I gave you a glimpse of a new surprise coming, and that surprise is here on our farm, but unfortunately, I don't know how long it is going to be on our farm. I cover it a little bit in an upcoming video, but if you remember back to the Farm Progress Show in Iowa from this summer, one of the things Andy and I saw up there was a John Deere sprayer with aluminum booms on there. And, you know, at first we thought, well, somebody just making aftermarket booms for John Deere sprayers, but come to find out it was a see and spray system that this company had come out with.
but anyway, that exact sprayer that we saw at Farm Progress Show is now sitting on our farm right outside. Uh, Come to find out, one of my college roommates went to work for this company, and he lives right here in this area, and they've tasked him with kind of uh, going through and perfecting the system, calibrations, getting it perfected for other crops, just doing a whole bunch of testing and everything. And anyway, he wanted a farm to be able to base his operation out of, and we've known each other real well, so we had access to internet, had access to water, plenty of fields to spray on it. So anyway, that's what that sprayer is doing out here, is to be used on our fields and other surrounding fields, just trying to perfect that see and spray system. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's actually going to be here all of next year, because my friend, he had an opportunity at another company and is one he couldn't turn down. So he's up and leaving in January. So I don't know if the company is going to keep the sprayer down here, considering he was the only one in the area doing it. So hopefully it will stay on our farms next summer, and they will send people down to do the testing and everything. Because I mean, they already paid me for the leasing the space for the upcoming year. So I was really hopeful that we would get a really good look at that technology next year. Especially trying it on our farm. Because the claims on it are very impressive. Instead of broadcasting a herbicide out there, you're driving through the field and you got cameras on the booms that are constantly taking pictures, and they actually see the weeds, and then they just turn on the individual nozzles as they go across the weeds, to where the only thing you're spraying is weeds. You're not wasting a lot of spray where you don't have weeds. And I've heard, claims to where it can reduce your herbicide use by like 90%. And as expensive the inputs are, that would be very impressive if it actually worked right. So I was really hoping to be a part of the developmental process, perfecting it, giving them feedback from a farmer's perspective about what worked, what didn't work. But ultimately, right now, they've been working on it. They've been working on it the last couple of months, and I've seen a lot of the goings on with it. But it's been too wet to really do anything in the fields with it, and that's really what I was looking forward to. So we'll just have to wait and see what their plans are going forward next spring and summer. Hopefully it'll still be here on the farm, and hopefully we'll be able to have several videos really showcasing that technology and find out for ourselves if it works like it should. All right, getting back to questions. All right, Luke. All right, I'll take a picture and send it to you. Sample 22 Country says he says that John Deere looks good sitting in the field. It's the biggest deer he's seen all season.
Seriously.
That's a pretty good comment right there.
Pass it up every day he goes home. Shoot, we all gotta see it.
All right, you see that deer again, just feel free to go ahead and shoot it and put it out of its misery.
Seriously, just go ahead. I'm done. I'm so done.
Yeah. Jay Heidecker 62 says, hopefully your wheat's looking good so far. And yeah, if you missed, I talked about it earlier. Our wheat's looking really good so far. I'm really, really pleased with it. Timothy says, I'm a farmer from Pennsylvania. I have 3,200 acre farm. My family and I are going to be in Tennessee next year for vacation. Where in Tennessee exactly are you going for vacation? Because
Tennessee's a big state.
Yeah, hopefully you're going to the eastern part of the state for vacation, because that's where all the vacation spots are.
Let me explain this. Okay. Let's explain this to all of our viewers. Okay. Hi, I would like to explain this to all of our viewers. Yes, Tennessee is a very large state, okay? So when everybody says, where do you live in Tennessee? We don't live in Nashville. We don't live in Gatlinburg. There's a whole other half of the entire state where, there's lots of people that live, okay? That's where we are, okay? When people go say, we're going to go on vacation in Tennessee, can we see you because you guys are going to be there? No, we don't live in Nashville, and we don't live in Gatlinburg, and we don't live near Chattanooga. our daughter does. But there's a whole half of a state. People forget that.
Unfortunately, we do live relatively close to Memphis, even though we don't claim it.
Nobody goes to vacation in Memphis. Nobody. So, yes, there's a whole half of the state that exists. This is where we live. Everybody else is middle and that way, which I'm sure Eric and the Lampreys would not claim either. So, yeah, everything Nash Vegas, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, not even close. Although we are going to Gatlinburg next week. And that's on the other half of the state.
That's where we go to vacation in Tennessee.
We get away from here to go there. I hate that. Like, I have to give a whole explanation every time. It drives me nuts.
Woody Henson says, Dylan Joyce not going to like you talking junk about those old John Deere tractors. Well, let me tell you something. Dylan Joyce has some very good old John Deere tractors. We have a lemon of a John Deere tractor, and I think even Dylan would admit that, considering ours has got the power shift in there, which he was not a fan of. All right, this guy asks, are you noticing an uptick in retirements or farm sales? Are equipment dealers struggling? Have land prices softened in non-development areas around you? Well, that's a loaded question. Are we noticing an uptick in retirements or farm sales? Yes. Not necessarily right here in our area with ground that we would have access to. We have seen, I wouldn't say really an uptick. It's been about the normal, but I've heard in other areas that yes, there's a lot more retirement auctions. Are equipment dealers struggling? No. I really can't say. I know what prices I'm paying for parts, and I don't know how they could be struggling with the prices I'm paying for parts. But I've heard through the grapevine that they're having tough times too. If farmers don't have any money to spend with them, they're not going to make any money. I do know from a social media aspect, I've heard that a lot of these equipment brands are really not investing in the social media part in 2025. In 2025 going forward, just because they're trying to tighten their belts also. Have land prices softened in non-development areas around you? Right. Really, ultimately, I don't know of any non-development areas around us. It seems like everything is fair game. It doesn't matter how far away from the town you get. Everything is bringing development prices because it seems like everybody wants their own little slice of the country. Everybody wants their own 5 acres carved out of the farm to build a house on. But so no, I've not seen land prices softening at all.
In fact, they're going up. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Freed Mork says every time a farm bill comes out, farmers get screwed. I really can't argue with that. Russ Thomas Farms is in the house. How's it going, Russ? Y'all finally get done cutting all your beans?
Any updates on the cell tower out of that field? Nah, I guarantee it'll still be there next year.
Yeah, Simple Green asked any updates on getting that cell tower out of the field. Nope. I don't know. I did mention it to the landlord, saying y'all said y'all had a 1-year contract. Hey, it's time to get that ball rolling. They said they contact the cell phone company to see about getting that ugly thing out of the field.
It's not a cell phone tower. It's a cell tower. It's a radio tower.
It's really an internet. It's a radio internet tower.
It needs to go. I text him laughing at Kelly saying Tennessee's large.
Mike Haas asked, what crop are we going to plant the most of next year? We're going to stay pretty balanced. If anything, we might cut back on some corn, but we're just going to try and spread our risk around as much as possible. About 25% of our acreage in each crop. Because I have no idea what next year is going to bring. I have no idea what kind of weather we're going to have. I have no idea what prices they're going to do. Pretty much all the prices are in the toilet, so we're going to plant a little bit of everything and just try to keep our heads above water for next year. That's, there's no reason to complicate it. We have no idea what's going to happen, so we're just going to try and keep it simple. And the simpler you keep a plan, the less chance of screwing it up. Got a commenter says, I remember you saying you might look at getting a boxcar Magnum to replace a 4440. Is that still the plan? I don't know. I mean, the 4440, as much grief as we give it, I mean, it's a decent tractor. It's an old tractor. It needs maintenance. It needs work. And it can break down at the worst time. But I mean, we don't have any kind of money to upgrade tractors. It's bought and paid for. It's not going to cost us a lot to run next year. So we're going to keep the old 4440 around. I mean, it functions fine as a bush hog tractor. So when it does get replaced, going to a boxcar Magnum, I don't know. I mean, I'll consider it. I'll have all options on the table, but it's not going to get replaced this year. JD Hecker says our local deer dealer is selling off $3.5 million in equipment since no one can afford prices on the stuff. I know our local John Deere dealer, Tennessee Tractor, every year for heck, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15 years. I mean, they have an auction in December where they sell off a lot of their excess equipment, and it seems like it's pretty much a bloodbath every year. But I guess it gets rid of their excess inventory, even if they do take a loss on some of it. Some of it brings pretty good prices, but a lot of it goes for a lot cheaper than what I would think it would. When is the Weather Fanatic asks, when is the video of the new sprayer coming? I don't know. I haven't edited it. It's not going to be a dedicated video on it. It's just going to be mixed in with a lot of our end of year stuff. I know I've got 2 more videos already edited after the one we're going to watch tonight. So it probably be 3, 4 videos from now. I'm not sure. I haven't got it edited yet. Benji King says only 800 people were killed in Memphis this year.
Only 800. We're getting lower. Get lower.
Adrian Jenkins asked, new tractor this year? No, not unless Zombie Trail buys me one, because I ain't got the money to buy one.
There you go. Zombie Trail needs to do better next year.
The Zombie Trail's the only thing making me a profit, it seems like.
I know. Gotta make that cheese. Good night, guys. See you in the boat.
Luke, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you being with us tonight. We'll see you here in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks on the boat.
Yeah, 3 weeks. No, actually, we'll see you at the airport.
How much lower can beans realistically go? It's really getting hard to justify planting a lot of beans. I mean, how low can they go? I mean, realistically, they could go a lot lower. I mean, we've got an increase in supply of soybeans over last year. I know that last week, they broke through a very solid line of support, and they dropped down, I think, like 40 cents in one day, but they did rebound back up. So I don't know. I mean, a few years ago, I was selling, $8.50 beans, so it wouldn't surprise me at all to see them go down, go down in the 8s, especially the way the USDA is doing their reporting. They're probably going to find, even though we've lost a lot of ground to development and other stuff, I fully expect the USDA in March to say we're going to have a record number of corn, record number of soybeans, record number of cotton acres, and it's going to keep the prices suppressed or even drive the prices lower. As far as I know, Brazil right now is having a pretty decent year, so they're increasing their acreage every year. So we keep on getting reports that Brazil's making big crops. China's buying their beans. They're not really buying much of the U.S. beans, due to events in the previous Trump presidency. So how low can they go? And your guess is as good as mine, but it would not surprise me to see beans go down in the 8s, maybe even dip briefly back into the 7s. I mean, heck, they could go to where they was 15, 20 years ago. They could go down to $5 a bushel. I don't expect that to happen, but anything's possible. Who knows? I mean, unfortunately, for us to see higher higher commodity prices, some part of the U.S. is going to have to take a big loss. It's going to take a really bad growing season in some of the states that matter. Your Indiana's, Ohio's, Illinois, uh, Iowa, Nebraska. You know, some of those guys. I don't want to wish a bad year on any year, but if we want to see higher prices, that's the only thing that's going to cause us to have higher prices is to have a lot of farmers hurting in some of the big producing states. Simple Green asks, "What are our goals for the channel? You all put in a ton of work. 31,000 subscribers is low, but don't be discouraged." I don't know. I mean, our goals with our channel are to keep doing what we're doing. My first goal is to put out videos that 10, 15 years from now, you know, when I'm not doing YouTube anymore, I look back and I'm proud of the videos that I put out, that each video served a purpose. Either it was entertaining or it was informative or it showed somebody, you know, something that I learned, or, you know, hopefully that video helped somebody out in some way. So ultimately that's our only goal of the channel. I don't really pay attention to how many subscribers that we have. I mean, it's just a number. You know, a big chunk of those subscribers came from just a few viral videos that, you know, and a lot of them don't watch our channel regularly. You know, they only watched, you know, the video of me getting thrown out of my combine, or, you know, the video I made of how a combine works, or, you know, maybe a couple others that have halfway gone semi-viral, and they just subscribe just based on that one video. So I really don't pay much attention to subscription numbers. You know, I don't judge the quality of our channel or how successful we're being with that. You know, I do want to see my income off YouTube, you know, steadily going up to make it worth our while. Because, I mean, it's like I said, we do spend a lot of time, and, you know, I don't want to do it for free, but, you know, ultimately our goal is to help other people out with our channel. You know, hopefully entertain people along the way too. So as long as we can keep doing that, and you know, we'll keep on putting out videos. So one good thing about having a farm channel is there's really no, you know, hunting up material for a farm. You know, our jobs change so drastically from day to day to year. We encounter all different types of situations and everything that there's no lack of fresh and new content to put out there, as long as we're willing to carry the camera around for us. All right, guys, 6:27. We're getting close to the end. We try and run through these last couple of questions. JD Hager says the corn market sure looks good now. I'm not going to say it looks good. It looks better than I thought that it would. I really thought that it was going below $4 and staying there, but luckily it's up there in the mid $4 range. So otherwise, I really wouldn't be considering planting much corn, but it's at a level where I think we might have some pricing opportunities this year. Harris Family Farms asked if we like our combine. Yeah, our 7120, I absolutely love it. You know, we bought it. It was high hour, but it was in good shape. We have kept it in good shape, other than trying to Dukes of Hazzard it over a corn head. But it's been very reliable for us. It's been really easy to work on. I love that combine. Not to say you don't have a lemon, but I've really been impressed with our combine, and uh, you know, I'd advise anybody to buy a 7120 if it's been maintained is in good condition. Well, guys, I appreciate all the great comments that y'all gave us. Appreciate all the support you've given us for this year. You know, going forward, hopefully we'll have some really good content. Hopefully in 2025, hopefully we'll learn a lot of new things. Hopefully we'll have some new things to show you, and uh, it's going to be an interesting year. I don't really think it's going to be a fun year for us. It's not going to be an easy year for us. Hopefully it's a little bit easier than 2024 was, but I think it'll make for some good videos. So we're going to do the best we can to keep on. We'll do the best we can to keep on putting out the videos and giving y'all good content. So anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Y'all stay tuned for the video coming up, and it should automatically redirect you to it. I don't. It's been so long since I've done this, I don't remember how it works.
Epic pause, right? Not what? Seriously. It says 6:30. What do you do?